Welcome to the Building and Growing podcast. We're delighted to have Fabio Maffioli from Outlier Ventures with us today. Welcome, Fabio.
Thank you. Ciao, Lucas.
Yeah,
Great.
no problem.
Great to be here today.
Yeah, look, pleasure to have you here, mate. And really grateful. We could have even done this in Italian, depending on how it goes. We could do a versione due later
switch.
down the line. Yeah. But look, Fabio, you've got a super interesting background. You're with Outlier Ventures now. We're gonna, have a really interesting chat today about, Web3, crypto. How you guys are supporting founders. But how about I hand over to you to do an introduction?
Sure. Happy to. And thanks for the interesting background.
You're most welcome.
I'm Fabio, head of accelerators at Outlier Ventures. And I've been in accelerators for the past 7-8 years, which some people might think it's a bit boring, but I'm still loving it.
Yeah.
It all started, I would say, like 10-12 years ago. I joined a very traditional financial service company called Swift.
Yes.
Back in Belgium. And I joined the innovation team at some point, which was called InnoTribe. Whose mission was to basically present innovation to the innovation happening in the fintech world to the banking industry.
Nice.
I got close to many startups, and that's the first time I discovered founders, early stage investing. I got immediately fascinated by that to the point that I joined one of those companies.
Okay.
And through them, I've been through 2 accelerator programs.
Nice.
I loved the experience so much, but what I loved wasn't really like the experience from a founder perspective, but from the accelerator perspective.
Yes.
I thought it was extremely cool that you could help several different founders at once, providing them, network support, introductions to investors, and helping them achieving their dreams.
Yes.
And so, after this enlightenment, I applied to every accelerator out there in London. I got accepted at Techstars, where I led for a couple of years the fintech program here in London.
Nice.
I then moved to Facebook, now Meta, helping them setting up their accelerator strategy here in Europe. And then finally, I landed at Outlier Ventures. And I think that, the transition was kind of natural because I was really obviously passionate about this accelerator world and the concept of it. And in the meantime, since 2015, 2016, 17 as well, I got close to blockchain, crypto. I started investing into the first scammy ICOs.
We all got burnt.
Yeah,
don't worry.
yeah. I made money, felt rich for a couple of weeks,
Yes.
and then lose everything.
That's right.
And
right.
Be desperate. So that led me to Outlier Ventures, where essentially I am responsible for all the accelerators that we run.
Nice.
And we run several different programs on a yearly basis, which focus on Web3.
Yeah.
So supporting Web3 founders, scaling, growing their businesses and achieving their dreams.
Fantastic. Well, look, what an introduction, Fabio. I guess, you went from one of the, biggest companies in the financial services world, Swift, which, the technology, it powers the world effectively.
Yeah.
Into that world of accelerators and, Techstars and Facebook, Meta are, massive names. I think, I'm almost jealous of how many founders and fantastic ideas and scaling companies you must have seen over the last few years.
It's that kind of company wasn't really for me. Nothing obviously against a company like Swift. That's actually I'm really thankful they gave me this opportunity. But I'm way more passionate of the energy that you get from working side by side with founders on a daily basis.
Yes.
That really affects you. Makes you wake up in the morning thinking, I'm working so that someone can launch a great business, help, well, hopefully the world, but launch product for that new users are going to adopt.
Yes.
And you couple that with the Web3 angle that I'm also really fond of, the whole idea of increasing transparency, the decentralization, disintermediation from the more traditional financial services or big techs, giving control of data value back to the users, the creators.
Yeah.
Those are all values that were close to my heart, and so I think that I found a sweet spot.
Fantastic. So are you able to tell us the history of Outlier Ventures?
Sure. So Outlier Ventures was born in 2014. My chairman, Jamie, and our CTO, Aaron, saw the potential of Web3 before many others, and decided to actually dedicate their energy and resources and capital to support Web3 founders.
Nice.
They did it very successfully for a few years, and then in 2019 we decided to launch the first Web3 accelerator programs. Back then we were one of the first accelerators supporting Web3 founders, and since then we have really scaled the number of programs that we run on a yearly basis. We found our let's say product market fit in supporting the different layer 1s and layer 2 blockchains in growing their ecosystems.
Yes.
So essentially what we do is we partner with a lot of these layer 1s and layer 2s. We look at their ecosystem. We try to understand which ones are the use cases that are gonna come out of their ecosystem, that are strongest in their ecosystem, and we identify the 5, 6, 10 strongest companies that are currently building on their chains.
Yeah.
And we invest in them. We take them on board, and we provide basically all kind of like support that these founders might need in their journey.
Fantastic.
So we have really partnered with many of the, if you look at the Web3 coin market cap ranking, most of the major layer 1 and layer 2 blockchains, like Polygon, Polkadot, Dera, Aptos, Near, Protocol Labs, Filecoin. We are in conversation with many more, and then we've done that pretty successfully, both from like a partner perspective, but especially from the founder perspective.
Fantastic. And for those who might be listening that haven't heard of, let's say, a layer 1 or a protocol before, do you mind giving a real quick high level definition?
Yeah, so trying to be basic.
Yeah.
I would say a layer 1 is, as the word says, is the blockchain where you can, builders can build applications on. And the layer 2 is basically a layer built on top of the infrastructure of the layer 1 that allows for higher, faster transactions, more scalability, more security, where that basically amplifies the potential of the layer 1 blockchain.
Fantastic.
That is what I would say, like in a very basic way, what L1s and L2s are.
That's a great definition there. And so just to confirm, so Outlier Ventures, does it invest in people building or founders building on layer 1 and layer 2, or just layer 1?
No, in both. It depends on what the scope of the program is about.
Yes.
If we partner with a layer 2, we would look for companies that are founders that are building their applications, their solutions on that layer 2. And equally, if we partner with a layer 1, we would do the same, looking for basically builders building on the layer 1.
Yes.
So it really depends on who is the partner.
Fantastic.
And again, this kind of programs are run to support this blockchain into in building and growing their ecosystem,
Yeah.
attracting new builders, promoting their service, their blockchain to more builders that might not be aware of this opportunity. And then we really handpick and select the best builders, and we help them scale.
Fantastic. And just before we dive into the accelerator itself, I've noticed that, beyond just the layer 1 and 2 protocols, you have some partnerships, say, with Walmart. Are you able to just dive into that for a moment?
Sure. And then that's probably, I should have mentioned that before.
Oh,
but
no problem. No worries.
the ecosystem growth type of accelerators that we run is just one type of programs. Then there is another type which basically looks more at the traditional Web2 players
Yes.
that want to that are getting into Web3, trying to discover the potential of this technology and what they can do with what they can offer their users, leveraging blockchain technology. And we have recently partnered with Walmart, Store Nº8, which is their incubation arm. And essentially, what we are doing is we are guiding Walmart into the Web3 journey.
Yes.
So helping them discover what the potential of Web3 is. And so we have identified a few use cases with them they would like to explore, that they think, that there's potential behind.
Yes.
And so what we are doing, us being the experts in Web3, we guide them through the journey with the accelerator program.
Fantastic.
Really identifying a few companies that we think are a great fit, a great match with what Walmart is currently thinking about.
Fantastic. And so would those companies, just be, I guess, like crypto focused, or could they be leveraging blockchain for, let's say, driving efficiencies in the logistics space? How does that work?
It's a great question. So, no, there shouldn't be necessarily a crypto token angle. A lot of these companies simply leverage blockchain to build products that are more efficient, faster than the traditional solutions that we have right now.
Yeah.
So in the case of Walmart, they are very interested in in the future of commerce, in the decentralized commerce.
Yes.
And that can look at offering their customers, their users, immersive shopping experiences, or kind of like different loyalty programs to keep them closer, more engaged, and more loyal to the brand.
Yeah, fantastic.
There shouldn't be necessarily like a crypto angle to that.
Excellent. Yeah, and I think it's always worth, just calling that out, because sometimes people think that crypto and Web3 are the same thing, whereas actually, they're not. The blockchain and its applications extend,
Totally
across different industries.
Totally.
But fantastic. Well, look, Fabio, you mentioned that you run and lead accelerators for Outlier Ventures. Why don't we dive into your accelerators? I believe the term that you guys use is Basecamp. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, tell us about Basecamp.
Happy to. Basecamp is how we call our accelerator programs. As I said, in the last few years, we have really scaled the number of programs that we run on a yearly basis. We now receive north of 5,000 applications every single year. We are extremely selective in the way we pick the founders that we want to work with. We are not in the game of putting together a cohort with a certain number for the sake of it, but we really want to handpick the founders that we feel we can support.
Yeah.
And that's why we, our acceptance rate is lower than 2%.
Wow.
So we go through like a pretty tough selection process comprised of several different interactions that we have with the founders that culminates with a pitch that the founders do to a panel of experts from OV. And then, eventually we extend an offer only to the companies that, we are sure we want to bet on.
Yes.
So, and that's why some cohorts might be a bit smaller in size, like 5 or 6 companies, rather than, a massive cohort of like 20 or 50.
Yeah, incredible.
The work that we do with those founders is really like tailor-made to their needs. We understand what they need from a growth and business perspective and technological perspective, and we build a program around them. So diving into the programs itself, it's a 3 months, 12-week classic, I would say, duration length accelerator. And you can think of it as a one-stop shop for Web3 founders.
Yeah.
Because essentially we provide every kind of support, tools, and help that a founder might need at that stage of their growth.
Nice.
We look for, early stage, pre-seed, seed, sometimes Series A type of founders, obviously building on Web3. And we inject them into this 3 months machine.
Yeah.
We, some accelerators focus on mentorship. Some others focus on the network that they have. We give them everything, literally.
Fantastic.
We put them, in contact with the best Web3 mentors that come from outside of Outlier Ventures, but equally, which is probably our secret sauce, we have different advisory teams of world-class experts on Web3 that look at, support companies on the token and engineering, on the product, on marketing, community building, on the legal side.
Nice.
And just to make sure that, these founders have everything they need when they join our programs.
Yeah.
So it's very intense. It's 3 months of intense work. But we believe that the work that those founders do in 3 months, most of the time equals to 18 months of growth without our support.
Yeah.
We managed to squeeze everything into a very short period of time.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible. And look, we're filming in London today, but my understanding is that Outlier Ventures is fully remote. How about the Basecamps?
Yeah, so all programs are remote. We know that there are advantages and disadvantages from running remote programs. I would start from the disadvantages that you don't have the founders there with you in flesh, right? Yeah. But then the advantages are many more. You can essentially like identify the best founders in every corners of the world without having them to relocate necessarily to London, which can have its own problems.
Yes.
You can identify mentors that again sit in all 4 corners of the world, as well as the kind of support that you can provide them. So all our programs are remote. The founders we select again come from all parts of the world. We are seeing a lot of activity, in obviously in North America, in Europe, but especially as well, we see interesting use cases coming from developing countries.
Yeah.
I was just talking yesterday with some people operating in the Bitcoin space that look at South America and in particular at Argentina as a great place where to find this talent.
Yes.
And the reason is that these people have a real need to identify and innovate technologies that solve problems that they currently have because of their economic situation or social situations. And so, we are seeing more and more interesting technologies and use cases coming out of developing countries as well.
Yeah, which is, absolutely incredible. And I think a lot of it, as you mentioned, comes as a result of economic need. When crypto was booming and there were really high levels of inflation in some of these emerging markets, we did see a lot of people invest in cryptocurrencies or stable coins in order to try and prevent their savings from eroding in real
Correct.
terms. And so it's quite interesting. Now, I've heard at a couple of different conferences that, adoption levels in emerging markets and developing nations
Correct.
Are almost higher at times
Yep.
than developed countries.
Correct. When you build solutions that users need right away, you see an uptick in adoption, which is pretty immediate.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening in those regions of the world.
Yes.
I think you've mentioned correctly. Inflation is one, but then there's many more reasons why those countries are coming up with quicker adoption of this kind of technologies.
Yeah.
And so we are paying close attention to what comes out of these countries, because most of the time is when we are talking about this type of use cases is what we will see coming into, let's say, the more developed countries later on. Fantastic.
And Fabio, you talked about how, I guess, competitive it is to get into the accelerator. What three things would you see in founders and their ideas that are helping them get over that 2% line?
There's many, but I would probably say, build your narrative, train on the delivery, on the pitch. It's most of the times this kind of relations are based on are born from like a few interactions, and so you need to be able to convey your story, the technology and the product that you're building in a simplified way, in a way that everybody in the room understands it. And I know that in Web3 this is sometimes complicated because of the intricacy of the technology itself. We see a lot of like very technically skilled founders pitching to us without forgetting that people in the audience are not necessarily technical.
Indeed.
And I think that if you are able to simplify your story in a way that even non-technical people can understand it, well, you have you start from 5 steps ahead.
Yes, indeed.
If double down on your strength, but don't forget to mention what your plan is for what your non-strength is. So if you have a very technically skilled team, flex your tech muscles, but don't forget that we are also thinking like, how can these people achieve a product market fit and scale, get user adoption, and so about the commercial aspect. So don't forget to tell us what your plan is to mitigate this luck that you might have in the team. We might be aware of it, we are happy to help, but showing that you have awareness of your business gets you a long way.
Fantastic.
So
Fabio, you've talked us through how founders, apply for the program, I guess, like the type of selection criteria and really what Outlier Ventures looks for in founders and ideas, as well as the stage. So, almost stage agnostic, pre-seed, seed, Series
Correct.
A. And you're always looking for the right type of founders. So if you've got 5 in a program, that's all right. If you've got 20, that's all right, which is fantastic. You've summarized the fact that, you're looking to help them do 18 months of work over those 3 months, and they can achieve that through the support that they're given, through the mentors, the advisors, and just general sort of network that comes with the Outlier Ventures program. Now, what I'd like to dive into is just understanding what happens once the program finishes, when Basecamp is over. What's next for these cohorts?
Well, they go out in the wild and hopefully raise money and grow successful businesses. But jokes aside, we look after all of them. We have now a portfolio of 275 companies.
Wow.
That makes us the number one Web3 accelerator globally in terms of volume of companies invested.
Yeah.
And we like to think that once you get out or graduate from our programs, you will still remain part of the Outlier Venture family.
Yeah.
And so we try to support every team in their growth journey.
Yes.
So we towards the end of the program, we do a lot of pitch coaching. We prepare those companies to fundraise. What's the right instrument? What's the right valuation? We connect them to investors. We put together events like the final demo day.
Yeah.
That hopefully gives them a lot of opportunities to meet investors and initiate those fundraising conversations. And then once they are part of the OV network, they can always benefit from it. They can connect with other founders, sometimes identifying synergies, partnerships with other companies.
Yeah.
And if when they keep us updated about their progress, we can definitely help them amplify, their success, their achievements.
Yeah.
We are, we would love to be able to help all these companies, until they are all successful businesses.
Yeah. Fantastic. I mean, it sounds like there's a fair bit of cross-pollination between the companies as well. I imagine in terms of maybe some of the services provided, but also, you might see alumni from one company join another one.
Yeah, that's that's an outcome that we really hope that happens.
Yeah.
So during the program, the 3 months of program itself, we try to create a lot of opportunities for these founders to meet, learn from each other.
Yeah.
We never select within the same cohort competing technologies, competing products. But most of the time we see that the more they learn about each other, the more they identify partnerships or synergies.
Nice.
That hopefully benefit both.
Yeah, indeed. And does Outlier Ventures provide any funding or money during the program just to keep these firms alive?
Yes. So that's a very good point. Yeah. So as I said at the beginning, we invest in every company that comes into our programs. We put $100,000 into each of these businesses.
Nice.
In exchange of a piece of equity and a future issuance of their tokens.
Yes.
That money shouldn't be considered as an investment per se, but should be seen as a stipend.
Yeah.
That we provide these companies in order to go through the 3 months of accelerator itself.
Yeah.
The real value is the program. Is the support that they get through the programs, is the network that we make available to them.
Yes.
Not just for the 3 months, but hopefully for life.
Yeah, indeed.
So
fantastic. That's great. And Fabio, I know, before we were having a coffee and we were talking a little bit about the exciting programs that you're recruiting for at the moment. So would you like to talk us through what you're recruiting for?
Sure.
Across the end of 23 and beginning of 2024?
Yeah. So we always have applications open. We launch programs on a quarterly basis. So every quarter you will go on our website and find new accelerator programs that we are recruiting for.
Yeah.
Currently we have 3 open applications for 3 programs. One is Futureverse, that looks for teams building on the root network.
Yeah.
Building the future of metaverse and gaming.
Nice.
Another one is Wormhole, that looks for founders building cross-chain interoperability and DeFi applications. And then the final one, which we are very excited about, is the Bitcoin program. So it's the first time that we run a program solely focused on Bitcoin technology.
Wow.
Bitcoin historically has always been seen as just as a store of value, but the recent innovation on the Bitcoin network actually allow for applications and different use cases to be built on Bitcoin that just go beyond the simple store of value that we've seen historically. And we're looking for teams that, are early pioneers on building solutions on Bitcoin.
Fantastic. Yeah, I remember back in the day, people were saying, look, like Ethereum has so many more use cases and applications than Bitcoin, but it's funny how things
Hopefully
change.
Bitcoin is catching up.
Yeah, that's it. I think that'll be a very interesting program to look at and see the results from for many years to come. So Fabio, we've covered what Outlier Ventures is, as well as its history, its traction and growth. We've done a deep dive into the Basecamp, where you're finding founders, as well as what type of post program support you offer them, so that they can raise investment. And we've done a really good sort of summary there of the programs that you're recruiting for. And for those listening to the podcast, months from now, the Outlier Ventures recruits every quarter. So super important to remember that. Do you have any key takeaways that you'd like to share with the audience?
Definitely a few. Maybe looking at the Web3 founders angle. The last few years have been pretty tough. Mm-hmm. Money has been scarce lately. We are still very much into a bear market. We have seen an uptick in prices in the last couple of weeks, 3 weeks. But I think that shouldn't be confused for necessarily the end of the bear market. So I think that founders still need to follow some safe procedures in this type of situation, these type of markets, and cut your burn rate, extend your runway as much as possible. Don't waste money on shiny activities like speaking at panels or attending conferences. Focus on building products that demonstrate economic value. This is what investors are more and more looking for. Their due diligence is way more strict than before. And they look for the same business fundamentals that apply to more traditional Web2 companies in Web3 companies. So think about that. And when you're thinking about fundraising, I would say start early. Don't wait that you have a full-fledged product before initiating conversations. The sooner you start those conversations, the better. I think that there was an American investor who said, smart investors invest in lines and not in dots. And that means that the dot is the single impression that a founder makes on an investor. But investors want to invest in lines, meaning that you need to start talking to them early, even when perhaps your product is not ready yet. Tell them, be transparent with them and say that, our product, we are working on this solution. We have this vision in mind. We are not ready to fundraise yet, but I want to be on your radar. And then you are going to meet them again, perhaps in 6 months time. And you're going to show that you have built a product, you have some early tractions, and they're going to make a second impression. And then perhaps at the third time that you're going to talk to them, the conversation is going to be so much easier.
Indeed.
Because they would have witnessed the trajectory that you have been on, rather than just one single impression.
Indeed.
So I would say start early those conversations, even if you're not ready to fundraise, because eventually you will increase your likelihood of closing those rounds later on.
I think that's a really good piece of advice, because if you can, be coming back to those investors at each conversation saying, look, we've won this client, we've entered these markets, they can see the traction for themselves as opposed to just, that single moment in time. So
keep them updated. Ask them, like, can I keep you updated on my progress? Like, we have a monthly, bi-monthly newsletter that goes out to investors and angels. You want to be part of it.
Yeah.
And they will see, you know, the growth that you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. No, it's a fantastic piece of advice, and I might steal that line off you. You know, investing in the lines rather than in the dots. I'll have to figure out who initially said it, but I'll quote it to you for now.
It's an American investor called Mark Suster.
Okay.
He wrote a blog about this,
Yeah.
which, you know, became very popular. Yeah, it's a good reading.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, look, Fabio, thank you for that, and I'll be sure to have a read of it. But look, just thank you very much for taking us through Outlier Ventures and the Basecamp accelerator. We're looking forward to seeing how the upcoming programs go, especially the Bitcoin one.
Yes. Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
You're most welcome. Thank you, Fabio. Grazie.
Yeah, prego. Ciao.